So today I'm inside the British Motor Museum at Gaydon, somewhere I've seen many times but never been able to visit. And finally today we've been able to come for a look around. £40 for a family ticket, a great day out which everyone seems to be enjoying so far. An incredible range of vehicles, but not just cars, lots of other memorabilia too. Some really interesting stuff, a lot of concepts as well. So there's things for everywhere from large to small, like this little electric vehicle. So 1970 Crompton Leyland. So another real standout vehicle, really tiny but obviously very forward thinking for its time. Hiding behind that, another car that caught my eye is this SD1. Again, a prototype vehicle because it's an estate. We never actually got a production version of the SD1 estate. The layout of everything in here is really interesting as well. I love this almost like toy box idea they've got going on here with the vehicles up on top. Again, more concept goodness. Got what looks a lot like a TR7 here, except it's not. Triumph Lynx prototype, which is actually this coupe design. Or how about this? Looks straight out of a science fiction film. 1969 Austin Zandra. This is just a small part of the cars that are on display here at Gaydon. Something I'm really excited to see, really pleased about, was this MG, the EXE concept, a mid-engine concept car. I actually had this in a book as a child. Now this vehicle actually dates back to the mid-1980s, but I think it still looks pretty fresh even today. I'm sure some of the development from this would have gone into things like the MGF. I know the book I've got at home, the interior, the pictures, the dash does look to share some of its styling with what became the Rover 800 too. An XJC, D-types. Some more Jaguars we'll come around to later. Another interesting car is this this Rover. Obviously looks very similar to a P6, but it's not. It's a Rover T4 and it's actually powered by a gas turbine. Because Rover had the rights to a gas turbine engine. So what did they do? They put it in a car. Obviously fuel consumption was an issue, so it never actually made production. But with its, when the P6 did come, with its Didion suspension, it had quite a sizable engine bay which made room for the V8, but not this gas turbine. So yeah, Rover actually took the gas turbines racing as well. This really interesting Rover BRM. This is another gas turbine vehicle. Before we go back over to those Jaguars, hiding away in the corner, we've got a very early Metro. It's an early one, it's actually badged as a mini Metro. 1.3 HLX. All that brown velour. That's a posh one, it's got a rev counter. If you had a rev counter in a car in that era, it was definitely a posh one. 1980. So, first year of production. That's the good thing about here, you've got exotic cars, which you'll see a few more of those later, but then we've also got everyday cars, the kind of things that we all grew up seeing. All around the walls here as well, you've got all these historical facts. You've got display cabinets full of all sorts of stuff. I think this is one of those places you could probably come 10 times and look round and still find something new on every visit. Back to the Jaguars. It's 1988 XJR9. '83 XJR5. It's really interesting, this one, the 1966 XJ13. D-type. Very successful race cars for Jaguar, the D-type. V12 Jaguar XJC. So the main building of the museum sort of split up into these sections. So the cars sort of laid out in these circles. I really like this as well, MGB cutaway. It's like what they probably would have used at the motor shows. Really fascinating. Obviously I've got my family here, so I've got a 15-year-old and a 6-year-old. And both of them, well, the older one likes cars, the younger one maybe not quite so keen, but even she's found plenty to keep herself amused. I expected a good car collection, but this is sort of beyond just the cars, the way everything's done. A Lotus Europa, Jensen Interceptor, and newer stuff if you're into it. We've got an Aston and a McLaren. Now, a car I really like in here is a Rover P5B, but it's not just any P5B. Any guesses to who this car belonged to? A particular royal, perhaps? Yep, that's right, Her Majesty the Queen's Rover P5B saloon. Well, it's not the only royal vehicles in the collection. We've got some Land Rover products here as well. Some parade vehicle. Next to a Range Rover Stormer. Or perhaps exercises out in the desert. But it's a very early 3-door Range Rover. Maybe similar in looks, but very different to the Range Rovers we have today. So we head down to the bottom corner, past some of these really early cars. We'll head through, we've got the motorsport section. There really is too much for me to get everything on here, but let's just give you an idea. But it's definitely well worth a visit, and there's another building still to go in yet as well. So we've got this Austin 7, which is badged as a Downton as well, so I presume that's got a Downton engine. Austin 7 Downton. TR7. Monte Carlo Rally Mini Cooper. So we've got a modern Bentley. Some Formula 3 and F1 cars. Another interesting car in here, we've got this Metro 6R4. Completely bonkers. Take a Metro, probably one of the most pedestrian cars that you could buy in the era, and turn it into a Group B rally car. Stick a V6 engine in, which is alleged to be the unit that was turbocharged and using the XJ220, but you do seem to get a bit of controversy around that depending who you ask. Obviously this one was normally aspirated and would have been tuned quite differently. Obviously Group B being quite dangerous did end up being banned, but I think a lot of these cars did still live on in other forms of motorsport. Another car that always seems to draw a crowd is this DeLorean DMC-12. And as so many have been, this one is done as in Back to the Future. Probably one of the most successful and certainly one of my favourite movie franchises. So the DeLorean, why would a car produced by DeLorean be in here? Well, obviously they were built in Northern Ireland. But the DeLorean could be a tale long enough for a video all of its own. Some more Land Rovers. Of course, there's so much more than just the cars. We've got cabinets full of various other exhibits, sort of development models and things like that, that they haven't got room to display out in the main museum. There's even something I spied earlier up there on the top. A Sinclair C5. Quite collectible these days. So even out here we've got more vehicles. Of course, all your other facilities, toilets, I believe there's a cafe upstairs, which I've not ventured up to yet. So even out here in the entrance, we've got a gift shop, we've got more vehicles. The workshops. Really interesting stuff here. They've even got another XJ220, this one being a V6 road car by the look of it. I thought the museum were good, but things just keep getting even better. a number of E-types, this one being the first production roadster. A couple of later E-types there. Various Daimler and Jaguar models. I think one of them, I can't remember which one it was now, belonged to the Queen Mother. Yeah, that's this one. With really cool cutaways of various engines. We've got 6 cylinders, and of course the V12. All this history up here on the wall. Series 1. Out in 1986, a very late 6-cylinder car here. XJC, which I quite like. If you like your XJCs, actually, Harry's Garage has got a video series on his that he's having restored. And if you like Jaguars in general, Joseph Lloyd of Lloyd's Vehicle Consulting actually did a video in this very room, and I'd say his Jaguar knowledge is probably somewhat better than mine. And he did go into quite a lot of detail, quite in depth about a lot of these cars. So again, we've got a long wheelbase one there, convertible, a 2-door coupe, a lot of these being one-off prototype models that you're never going to see anywhere else. An estate. Another great other concept. I think that looks like could have been the XF. Again, a few of these I do remember been displayed as concepts. Well, you won't be able to see through the glass, but again, the interiors are really interesting on some of these cars too. I do quite like this one. I think could have made an interesting entry into the smaller premium segment. Here's the Concept XJ220. I think that really marks this car out from the regular road cars is we've got those scissor doors. Obviously the production cars didn't get scissor doors. Also this one's got a fully glazed area at the back. It doesn't have the vents at the bottom of the glass. I couldn't say whether there's any difference in length or anything, but obviously the original car was slated to have 4-wheel drive and a V12 engine. And there is our V12. Probably can't focus very well through the glass, I wouldn't have thought. But it does actually say on there Jaguar V12 4-valve. So as there were no production cars, didn't get that. The production models ended up with a turbocharged V6 and only rear wheel drive. Various other road cars in here. So we've got some Mark IIs and there's an S-Type as well. One thing I really like here is how all the vehicles, nothing's sort of behind cordons, everything is accessible. So you can really get up close and see everything. Of course, Jaguar has a long history of motorsport. And a few other derivatives here. We've got the Project 8 and Project 7. Then if you want something even more exotic, how about CX-75? Oh, yes. And then upstairs, we've got all sorts of things up here, various concept models, predominantly, and some off sort of first off and last off. One car I particularly like is the SD1 Vitesse Series 2. Probably a very late one, about an 86. The 70s, when the first SD1s developed, British Leyland didn't really have any money or resources, but it's amazing what they made from it. We've also got a very early MG Metro. We've got various Rover and Triumph models. See hiding back there, another P5. With this beige Metro Saloon, another concept that never came to be Triumph Claim. And another rather interesting Metro, this one. There's an engine not like you see any other Metro. Yeah, that one's got a few more cylinders. Early development version of the Metro 6R4. And alongside that, another interesting car. This one is a test mule for a later MG model. Any guesses? Yep, we've got the good old K series. This was in fact the test mule for the MGF. Strange actually, the exterior body looks like Austin Metro, but the interior, the dashboard, is looks more Rover Metro. So many cars in here. On each side you're talking 3 deep. The Rover 2000. The Rover P5 Coupe behind there too. Mark 1 Lotus Elise. various Range Rovers, Land Rovers, the Metro, the Montego like this as well. Again, we've got some last of cars, last of production, signed by the workers. And again, everything accessible. You can walk up and down the aisles and see everything in here. Everything from concepts to the kind of cars that everybody's friends, relatives or neighbours had. The old Cutaway Mini, amongst other vehicles. Let's see if we can see here over the mezzanine, workshop area. And there's the XJ220 road car. And I'm told by one of the staff here at the museum that XJ220 would normally be parked alongside that concept car that we saw. And there are some quite noticeable differences between the two vehicles. I enjoyed our visit here to the British Motor Museum. We've had a look around the collection centre, and we've also been in the main museum itself. But yeah, definitely well worth a visit if you ever get the opportunity. Of course, it can get very busy to do shows here as well, various British car shows, which is where I discovered this venue to start with. So, but that's not the end of our journey today, because we've travelled down from Yorkshire to Gaydon, about 130 odd mile or so, and a journey we've actually made in the Megane, probably the longest single trip I've done. And to be honest, out fully refreshed, relaxed, car's coped really well. But that's not the end, because we've got about a similar distance again to go tonight. I have a few nights in Basingstoke because we're attending the Lloyd Vehicle Consulting social tomorrow. So today being the Friday, tomorrow Saturday. And then who knows, depending on what we've got time, we may find some other interesting venues to attend as well. Oh, just spotted in the car park. This is a great thing at coming here. Earlier on I saw a Lancia Fulvia in the car park, and now, just walking back to the car, I have spotted early Lotus Esprit. So this is just the stuff you're seeing in the car park. How much would I like one of those? Very much indeed. So, like I say, we'll pick this up, you'll join us again, and next time we will be at the Lloyd's Vehicle Consulting Social. So if you haven't seen Joseph's channel, I suggest you check it out, because there's also a rather good review in the collection centre that he did a few days ago. And as I say, his Jaguar knowledge is probably far superior to mine, so check that out as well. In fact, I'll try and leave a link in the description for you. Until next time, goodbye for now.